back up in popularity here. It will be the Karma, actually, not the Yuumi. But you have two Enchanter supports here. One, of course, is going to be getting a lot of gold. The other is going to just empower a lane. And it will be Keria playing the Karma. You'd have to expect the Seraphine laning into the Azir. And there's a lot of scaling here in terms of healing and sustain and shields and poke damage. And Gwen can basically become a secondary hyper carry here instead of the Seraphine later on in the game. So HANWHA Esports really need to use this prio to get advantages around early Drakes. Like take 2 early Drakes, take that Herald, destroy a turret, notably mid if they can.
We go. Let's get into game 1 between HANWHA and T1. Oh my goodness. Is that's the Star Guardian skin,
Yeah,
isn't
I think
it?
so. I think so.
FAKER is actually using a skin in this game. That's how much he values Star Guardian Week, by the way, everyone. Very, very cool. There we go. Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, I really, not me. I thought like his teammates might convince him, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Man, that's very cool.
I have like the same, you know, icon that FAKER's riding on right now, like on my chest. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, we're twins.
we're on the same team.
We should go and talk to FAKER after this and just let him know that we're twins. We should definitely not do that. Okay. So let's see how this game's going to go. Do you want to recap us on how these comps work? Well,
yeah, so let's recap if you tuned in a little bit late. So we did see the counter pick. Oh, we don't have time to recap yet.
it looks like no. So it actually isn't. It's not. It's not even Star. No, it's just base skin. It just looks like a Star Guardian skin
but
because
it's
it's
the
Seraphine.
same logo. It's like the same logo as the Star Guardian one that she's riding on.
Yeah, no, never mind. I got baited. I got baited because
I mean,
it
I
just looks like
believed it.
a Star Guardian.
I use like her one where she's like a super pop star or whatever. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually just getting worse and worse at recognizing which skin's which now because there's like 4 billion and I'm like an old man stuck in my ways, so I only ever use like the one from like 7 years ago on like each of the champions that I play.
We've just outed ourselves as Seraphine players as well. This is the worst part.
Back to the wave before it crashes to his turret.
And there was no punish on FAKER there for the roam. As on fleeks up your top side.
Yeah, Zeus is going to be a little bit immune, so he will be fine.
He's aight. But yeah, there was no punish really on FAKER's roam there from Karas, who just kind of went AFK in the lane and pushed through and isn't really even going to deny that much CS, as this ward is getting Zeus so much value.
Oh, he comes back. That is a beautiful flash forward to guarantee the Counter-Strike stun, and first blood goes to On Fleek for HANWHA Esports.
Yeah, when you're running teleport ignite rather in our flash list, you know, a move like that from Dudu who takes the rare flash here in the matchup, you're going to be able to get a lot of power. You know, you don't always run that one in the Jax Gwen, but if you have a gank set up early, it can get you an early kill. Is once again down on the bottom side. Owner is paying a visit.
Yeah, he is going to look for this one. Flashes to the Tempest. Vista is going to fall down. Johnny survives for the moment, but T1 putting on so much pressure here in the bottom lane.
With a teleport here for Zeus, he's straight back into the lane and is actually going to have an HP advantage. Keria wants more. Will not get that root. But yeah, I mean, the gank top side, yeah, it was the first blood going over to the Xin Zhao, so a little bit of extra gold there. But shutting down the Lucian Nami is so much more valuable here. Notice the CS difference here for Gumayusi versus Chunny. And Zeus is not really losing anything minus that gold. Now, if he stays long and gets killed again...
Oh dear, Zeus does have Ignite in this lane as well, so doesn't even have Ghost as an option. Does go immune, however, and that will allow him to avoid the Wind Becomes Lightning and stop the extended Audacious. At the Seraphine, of course, this was a few games when she was extraordinarily busted, but still, FAKER passed the Seraphine Busto test every single time. So very nicely done. Zeus misses a few creeps up here towards the top side. Need to say thanks to Jonah Strong for making sure that we know. As Gumayusi, 85.7% win rate, 6-1 on the Ezreal thus far. And has had some heroic games even this season when he wasn't necessarily in peak form after MSI, but was still able to get some POG points on this pick.
I think this is a strategy here for T1 where you're playing around the fact that your opponent is playing his first LCK game, officially, of course, and he is a little bit nervous. He is playing a lane that really...
Well, Owner's going to take a fair bit of damage here as On Fleek dashes forward, gets a great knock-up, just a few more autos and he'll be dead, and the assist will go over to Karas. And that is another kill for On Fleek. There's another fight here towards the top side. Dudu's going to get ignited though as Zeus pulls out the needlework, and the trade of health is absolutely ridiculous in favor of the Gwen. She will knock him away. But no flashes or anything like that expended because Dudu's was still on cooldown.
Faker's over here as well, and
Dudu's like, oh dear, I definitely do not want to deal with this one as Faker comes on over. Let's see whether the high note's going to be enough damage. Counter-Strike will get the stun as he looks to try and turn it here onto Faker. Karis is moving over. The beat drop comes in. Decent encore, but Karis has closed the gap, and the Emperor's Divide is going to stop Faker from being able to get out. The flash is going to come through, but the autos, Karis is just out of range and does not want to expend the flash, knowing that Owner could be in the area. How I feel about that. But that's fine. T1 now just going to continue pushing forward.
There's a few of 6, so you have to respect this.
Yep. There's a few of the Star Guardian skins that are only available on Wild Rift, which makes things even more confusing here on Star Guardian Week as Ono's going to move down, and HANWHA Life do manage to make it back towards this minion wave, which is very important. Chani desperately wanting to pick up the experience at least. Yeah,
Karis is here. So Faker has a free lane right now because he's just like, all right, well, cool, I'll just take this. Thank you for the extra push. Might lose some minions here. Going to give me a free moment to back as well. Faker's teleport coming online soon. Not going to have it just yet, but so many resources committed to make sure Chani can be a champion. And he isn't yet, but at least he can continue to try to be a champion, I guess is more realistic here down in this lane. When Ezreal lanes can go back very quickly into the Lucian if you get an advantage, but he's had control this entire time from owners early with gank timing. Herald is going to be dropped mid, so this is one of the recipes for success we talked about for HANWHA Life Esports. One of the things they needed to get with the prio they had. It didn't end up being as much prio as it could have had, but either way, they're still going to be able to pick up some of these plates early.
Yep. And also, as you can see, the gold's very, very even, and I really like HANWHA Life's comp as the game goes on. Of course, over the side of T1, they've got loads of shields and heals and all of this stuff to really skew how this game is going.
And let gap close, as we're going to see Counter-Strike used here to try to get some of these minions under turret.
Yep.
And Guma has an Essence Reaver. Like, he has an Essence Reaver. His tier is halfway stacked. Like, we're in a position where Gumayusi is going to have a stronger mid game, actually.
Well, here's the fight as Gumayusi taking so much damage over the wall, but the culling is not going to extend far enough. So Gumayusi has to use the heal, but otherwise Arcane Shift will get him out. But HANWHA Life didn't expend any summoner spells in that moment. It is just the culling. Tidal Wave's still up. This should mean that they'll be able to pick up themselves their first Drake of the game. True Shot Barrage does a bit of damage on its way past, but not going to be able to stop the Drake. And HANWHA, they're not slowing down. Is, and let's see whether this dive is going to work. Diving a Jax, it's always a scary prospect, especially one that does have flash available. Counter-Strike will be up as well. And Owner's still going to come in and go for it. The Empower onto Zeus there as they look for some plates first. Let's see how this dive is going to go. And T1 decide that it might just be a little bit difficult. Dudu's holding on to everything as there's the kickback. They want to kill him. He leap strikes to get out, but the needlework and ignite is going to be enough. And I just kind of disagree with how Dudu went about that, but it was still a difficult one to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, also the minions, it was a cannon wave, but still, I mean, eventually you have to make a choice here. And T1 waited for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. The Counter-Strike timing a little bit off there, but now he's going to lose a bunch of minions and turret plates, and the kill is going to go over to Zeus in this case, not going to be given to Owner.
Ooh, Carry's going to flash the bubble. Nicely avoided there, but putting that flash on cooldown going to be very, very important. As Tidal Wave comes forward, they're not going to waste any time as Johnny dashes on in. They do manage to get the kill on the Karma, but can they keep themselves alive? The answer is yes. As On Fleek's there, bodyguarding in the area. Beautifully done, and the Lucian Nami picking up some kills is definitely massive value. And they didn't waste any time to capitalize on that summon.
Yeah, yes. Does finally now have that Gale Force online at least. Built an earlier Dirk because his item build was stifled so much in the early game. At least got some extra stats back from that into the Ezreal Karma. But T1 are now in a position where they should be able to pretty convincingly win straight up 5v comp start to scale online. The Zeus Gwen is accelerated. The Ezreal is vastly accelerated. How do you win these fights now? It's just going to be so tough. Plus, they have defensive options here with the Karma. They have Ezreal ult chokes. Yeah. They have Seraphine ult, plus all of her roots and speed movements, or movement speed increases. It's nasty, Atlas. Like
it's a rough time.
HANWHA.
Yeah, it's a real tough time here for HANWHA Life Esports. Johnny and Vista need to get more kills. They need to get more money so that this Lucian Nami can have the effect that we know it can provide for a whole bunch of these teams. Tidal Wave's going to come through, but Shirley's still going to be able to get the crash. True Shot Barrage still connects there as OnFleek looks for the backline, finds Wind Become Lightning onto Owner. The T1 are able to back away, and Karras' teleport is for naught, and they still lose the turret. OnFleek
also, like, if Karras comes in here with the Nami ult, if they timed it better, they could have actually looked for a complete turnaround. Now they're at least going to force this mid turret down, so they turned something that was rough into.
Oh, there's the flash encore as Johnny is going to get charmed, but they're still able to get a lot of damage onto Owner. He survives with all of the heals, all of the shields, and so he'll be all right, but the W's coming through from both the Karma and the Seraphine are certainly helping keep everyone up here for T1.
It looked really bad there for our HANWHA Esports with the late teleport from Karras, and they could have maybe set up for a tidal wave into Emperor's Divide, but now they've grouped up to grab mid-turret. Going to grab this Drake.
Well, Zeus is just huge. He gets put in a bubble, though, which is not what he wants, as now Karras finds the Emperor's Divide. They just destroy the Gwen, and now HANWHA are trying to make their way out. OnFleek just barely surviving here. And HANWHA, they'll take the Drake and get a kill. And T1 a little bit uncoordinated.
Yeah, the strengths of their comp, they've missed all their windows, and now they've really turned things around with a really decisive move there to push mid.
Yeah, and also I kind of value how this Lucian is going to go on like 2 and 3 items as this game goes on, right? Like, I love T1's plan of let's crush bottom lane so that they can't get any sort of snowball rolling. But we've seen that that isn't necessarily even when Lucian is in his final form, right? Yes, the laning phase can be strong, but it's when he builds...
Your point about this, because the burst damage that Lucian brings in on 2-3 items against the Seraphine especially can be something that actually ruins T1 in team fights and setups. Zeus caught again.
Karras going to find him with another Emperor's Divide. Gwen does go immune against a few of the members of HANWHA Life, but OnFleek is so powerful and will just rip down this kill. Chani as well, able to take down Owner in the backline as Dudu is dancing forward as well. Gumayushi, can he be the hero? He takes 1 kill, and now T1 are feeling like maybe it's time to come back. The beat drop's not going to land, and the Encore is going to do the same thing, but Vista is now out of position. Dudu diving forward, not quite enough damage there onto Vista as Dudu is able to block some shots there. And HANWHA do just decide to back away even 4 versus 3.
Well, this is a really clean game from HANWHA. Like, compared to what we normally see, that was a really nice attempt to re-engage from Dudu there into the rest of T1, but they split in 3 directions. Let's see if this hits.
Oh, this could be some money. Karras, yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he was looking for some fish, but unfortunately the Nami was a little bit east.
Extended damage that you're going to have from an Azir. If you lose that burst, then you can't threaten the long-range Ezreal. Could just do so much damage. And
yep,
like Chani is now accelerated to a 2-item state with Rapid Fire Cannon. He can try to pick Faker or force him to use ultimate, force him to flash. There are some playmaking options here for HANWHA Life.
Well, Vista could be in trouble, and he's just dead. Not in trouble, he was already
done.
Dead.
He's out.
As that happened, as T1 just decide that they want to take him down, capitalizing on the fact that the Azir is on the top side. This inner turret will go down as Owner doesn't quite find the kick flash on the Chani there.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Chani has to be so careful, and he is.
Chani, what was that? Bit of the thumbs up BM, I love it.
Well, it doesn't even have to flash or anything like that. He knows exactly where he needs to be to avoid flash kick range, and is able to do it. No summoners expended, escapes there. His support, not so lucky, is the line he has to withdraw.
Well, let's see if it's going to work, because Kerry is going to immediately go down as we come out of the replay. Chani, very low, and the needlework is going to pick him off. It's a 2-for-1 trade in the end, but they do manage to at least get the Lucian. As Zeus moves to 2-4-1 in this game.
Now, T1 scale extremely well, right? They have a Gwen who could side lane. They have Seraphine and Karma, so, you know, it becomes very difficult to play against this comp later on because of the shields, the healing, the mobility. But they got to be careful about.
OnFleek standing in that front line. Does now have a bit of that extra movement speed, but as you can see, these minion waves do not last long on either side of the rift. Of course, Seraphine and the Azir both very good at ripping through these minions. Lucian no slouch either. So the K-Ram, not something that lasts all that long, as OnFleek just going to get his face check on, moves towards the river here, but T1 in position to cancel that one out.
No vision, no idea where Owner is. They have to be so careful with Chani here.
Yeah. True Shot Barrage not going to find the targets here. Chani as well, just looking for some ardent blazes as he gets on in. HANWHA moving back towards that bottom side as this Drake is alive. Soul point available for both teams, but neither of them seeming interested whatsoever about this, as it's very dark moving into the river for HANWHA Live.
T1's turn is so insanely good.
Yeah. And in the 4, they are so strong as Gumushi taking a lot of damage. Johnny taking matters into his own hands. The tidal wave a little bit out of sync as the Baron has still been leashed. And you can see Ona still there with, oh, in goes on fleek, but he's unable to find the steal. It's actually the Ezreal, which threw me through a loop, picking up that Baron. And HANWHA Life able to back away now. The Drake still alive as well, so HANWHA were unable to get anything in that moment as Ona is going to bait out the Emperor's Divide beautifully there. And Dudu's trying to battle here on the front line, gets out towards this ward with a leap strike, but now Vista is possibly free food, and I think T1 may have just found this game. Ona didn't even need to use a kick, he just decided to get behind Chani there and wipe him out. That kick was already on cooldown, of course, and T1 now move towards this bottom lane.
Yeah, they have the mid lane controlled with a massive wave here. 2 cannon minions about to crash through, and they can just push this into an inhibitor. Short respawn timers here to a certain extent, obviously, at only 28 minutes into the game. We're not at the late game just yet, so T1 will take this inhibitor back off and look for Soul Point and further control of the game. Then they could just go and once again 4-1 a different lane. They could reset, put everybody bottom side, and put Zeus on the top side. Didn't have to expend his teleport. Faker is actually going to grab those top minions first. That's the teleport you see top lane.
Yep.
And looking at, we didn't see what it was at, so I thought maybe he was just clearing a ward or something there, but
yeah, you can see the desperation in the play. As Dudu now will get some time with this inner turret on the top side, but he doesn't have a Baron. That's going to be there for T1 for another 45 seconds. And Zeus just moves towards this this turret and immunes the tidal wave very comfortably. That will get them this bottom inhibitor, and they already had the middle sorted out already. And you can see HANWHA just running out of options here as the beat drop's going to get the snare, thanks to the Rylia's Crystal Scepter that Faker's built up already.
And I'll take these empowered backs one more time here with 20 seconds left on this Baron. Dudu heroically is able to at least get that top turret, but it's not going to be permanent damage, right? It's just a little bit of extra gold when he's already behind.
If necessary, right now, completely unnecessary as everyone's at full health, just sieging up this inner turret. A lot of damage there, as you can see. Gumushi already with 4 items completed on this Ezreal. He's very strong. Carrier takes a fair bit there from Karis. But HANWHA well and truly on the ropes. And it felt like this game, there wasn't that huge turning point until the Baron, where things really went from bad to worse for HANWHA. Zeus taking a bit of damage here, but he's able to dash out of the way, and he's just being a nuisance here for HANWHA to deal with, as now they just have to play reactionary this entire time, and T1 really have just taken out all the stops.
They really have. I think the itemization here is...
Karis is very strong, but he does have to use his stopwatch. Broke that one. True Shot Barrage is going to be set up perfectly, and that is a free pick onto the Azir. Not the greatest of games here for Karis in the later stages.
Faker flashed that one in.
Yeah.
Oh, just got to make sure those hit. That is a lot of their defensive siege gone.
Yep, and their base was already in shambles, Wolf. As Gumushi, he's arcane shifting forward. Ona does have the flash and kick available, and he is very dangerous. Zeus is just sieging Nexus turrets by himself because he's so strong. He can absolutely do that. Went for the Shadow Flame, in fact.
Yeah, didn't even go for the extra, you know, AP stacks or scaling.
Well, in goes Ona, gets the kickback as Chani just caught out of position once again, and T1 will say goodnight to this game. In the mid-game, it was like HANWHA Life Esports had a little bit of a chance, but then T1 found their Baron angle that they do so often, and they will close it out. Really nicely done, and great utilization of some